Well, welcome everybody. I'm delighted to be with you today. I'm really excited, especially since it's raining outside, that you made it. So it happened 3 o'clock in the morning. My wife woke me up and she told me some really exciting and really scary news. She said, it's time. What it meant is that we were going to have a baby that day. We're going to have someone coming to us as quickly as possible. So what happened is, I want you to know, by the way, that I am a highly trained birthing coach. So what that means is that while my wife was going through the labor process, that my job was to make sure that she was as comfortable as possible. So the first thing that I was supposed to do was to put my hands on my knees, and then she would drape herself over me to put herself into a more comfortable position. So we did that, and so got her going a little bit. She started to progress, and so I called the birthing center and said, hey, we're ready to come. And they said, how far along is she? And I said, I don't know, but she seems to be doing great. And they said, just stay home. Just stay home a little bit longer. So we went a couple more hours, doing some more on the knees. We're going strong, ready to go. Call them up and they say, oh no, just stay a little bit longer. So we kept going through this process. Now, I want you to let me just back up a little bit here and tell you that my wife wanted to have this really incredible experience with the birth of our baby, right? So we were going to go to this birthing center. They had a hot tub jacuzzi set up so you could just relax. They had a big king-size bed, and that's where you're going to give birth. And so just this nice, comfortable thing. There's muted lighting. We have some music going. I mean, it's just this incredible experience. Imagine, if you will, what that would be like for a birthing experience in contrast to going to a hospital, right? So that's what we're all ready for. We're prepped in our minds. And so some of our friends came over and they gave her a little foot massage. Now, I was really happy to see them because that meant that they were the ones taking care of my wife and I got to take a break. So I went in the kitchen to make a sandwich real quick, and I'm offering some food to everybody, making sure everybody's comfortable. Well, I got a call, or my wife relaxed a little bit, and then she stood up after this massage, and all of a sudden her water broke. Now, we've been going really slow all morning, and all of a sudden we are in panic mode. The contractions started to hit like a jackhammer. We had to get things going. It was coming. The baby was coming really fast. So we quickly got my wife changed, and she said, well, I think we should stay here and have the baby at the house. And I said, oh, no. Remember, we got to go to the king-size bed. We got to go to the jacuzzi. So I put her in the car, and I was going 80 miles an hour in a 55 because we had to get there as quickly as we possibly could, and there was no way that I was going to deliver that baby. Now, as you can imagine, there was every kind of obstacle that you could possibly come up with, we encountered. We had traffic, we had construction, we had all kinds of things. We had red lights. I blew right through it. I could see that there were no cars coming. Kept going. My poor wife is just plastered to the side of the window. She's like in major pain. I really feel bad about this. It was the best I could do. I was just trying to get her there, wanted her to be comfortable as soon as she could. So unfortunately, we got to this point where there was construction, and there was just nothing we could do. There was a guy that turned the sign, and there was a car right in front of us, turned the sign, and so we couldn't get through that piece. I mean, my wife is plastered up against the window, and there's the guy with the sign, with the stop sign. So finally we got through that, and we're getting up. She said, this baby's coming. We're not going to make it to the birthing center. And so she said, well, look, pull off right here, and there was a fire station. I'm like, brilliant, fire station, perfect. So I pull in right in front of the doors, hop out of my car, and there was a guy, a firefighter, that was just closing the door. And he said, you can't park here. And I said, oh, yes, I can. I said, I need a medic. My wife is going to have a baby. So just about that time, the fire truck came around from the back. Now, I do want you to know that they were in their dress blues. So they weren't going to a fire. No one's house burned down because we decided to have a baby at that moment. But they quickly grabbed their kit, and we were able to deliver that baby in front of the fire station in the car, right? So it's right there. So I'm telling you that story to let you know that what happens when moms have babies is that they forget. They have all these chemicals that happen, and then there's all this amnesia. So we ended up going to the birthing center after the baby's delivered. We have all this moments of panic, all the terror of getting to the actual fire station and the craziness of having a baby in the car. And we ended up getting there, and we were able to relax, and we've got some chocolate brownies, and we're having some fun. We're relaxing a little bit. And the folks there, the nurses there, they're like, hey, the next time we should do this differently. And I'm thinking to myself, I've got PTSD right now. Now, I recognize that I'm not the one that did all the work today, but, I'm thinking, what do you mean the next time? This is it. We're all done. This is it. We're not going to do this any differently. So unfortunately, entrepreneurs, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, entrepreneurs also have some amnesia. We jump in, we get going on our startup, and we push real hard, and then we forget how hard it is to actually get something off the ground, and then we get back in, we jump on the next one, and we get excited about that next one. So my hope is that today, during the process, I'll be able to share some ideas with you that will help you to go through this birthing process of birthing, not the baby. I've now trained you all. If you ever, guys, this is you just need to hit your knees. But we're not going to learn about babies, but we're going to learn a little bit more about entrepreneurship. So, all right, so let me just share a couple of things some takeaways that came away from the opportunity that we had to have this baby. So first of all, it's not going to go like you want all the time. You're going to have some things that come up in the process. You need to be able to adapt to, but guess what? We have a super cool story to tell. How many of you were born at a fire station? Anybody? All right, see? Pretty cool story. Now, I know that if we were to spend some time, some of you have some really cool stories. I was just born at a hospital. It was boring, all right? All right, so the reality is both with your baby, but also with your business, there isn't a good time. Just go for it. You're always going to have something going on. You're going to have school. You're going to have work. You're going to have family. You're going to have things happening in your life that will prevent you from starting a business. Just go for it. Even if you have a job, get a little side hustle going. Get started so that you've got something so that you can at least practice the entrepreneurship. All right, let me share with you a couple of stories. So this is a little autobiographical, as you can tell. I've already started with a baby story, right? So this is going to be autobiographical today. I hope that's okay and that you'll give me a little pass on that. So I wanted to share some of the things from my background, some of the startup ventures that I've worked on. So a few years ago, my team and I usually drink 40 ounces in an hour, so we'll see how this goes, because I want to be drinking the whole time. So my team and I noticed that there was this really big problem. We had some significant drought issues here in Texas. So we did some calculations, we did some math, we talked to a bunch of people, and we figured out that one of the problems was that most people hadn't associated the biggest challenge with drought being their outdoor watering. That's where most of the waste happens. We have these nice green yards, but we're not efficiently watering the yard. We maybe have a rainstorm like today, and you'll see sprinklers, right? Probably not today because we're in the middle of winter, but during the summer months, you'll often drive down the road, you'll see some sprinklers going. And of course, we've got this big dry area, and so we have all these things. So we really painted the picture of how big of a problem that this was going to be, how much that we needed to really address this drought problem. We also talked with a whole bunch of folks about here's what it looks like, here's what the rain looks like. So this is what we came up with. So this is some actual data. Now, this was a few years ago that we were doing this, but I went ahead and pulled the data up till 2020. So you can see, the average rainfall is 47 inches. So, we had some highs up there. You can see what the trend is doing, going down. Well, in 2014, when we were having this conversation, we're at 36 inches of annual rainfall, well below the average. So you can see we've got a big problem going on. We're going to have some challenges. One of the pictures that we used to share with the investors that we were pitching to was a picture of Lake Travis. Now, how many of you remember what Lake Travis looked like a few years ago? Yeah? You could walk across it, almost, right? So there are parts of it it was so dry, the water level was so low that you could almost walk across. There were docks and boats and all kinds of interesting things that you could discover out in the middle of the lake. Now, about the time that we were going to launch, there were some things that happened, but let me just give this a little bit more. So we ended up talking with this particular play was a multi-sided platform. Multi-sided platforms have some challenges. What that means, though, is that we are going to have a relationship with the homeowners. They're the folks that, of course, were using the water, and they were going to pay the bill. So we needed them as customers. We were targeting customers that had homes that were a little bit more expensive, $300,000, $400,000. The purpose of that was they're more likely to, they've already invested in their property, they've already invested in their home, they're going to continue that investment because they want to make sure that they're going to pay the money anyway on their water bill, right? The other people that we had involved were the utilities. They had incentive to make sure that we were managing that water correctly. We don't want to run out of water. It becomes a big problem if we go to the drinking fountain or we turn on the tap and all of a sudden there isn't any water to drink or isn't any water to wash clothes, et cetera. And so the utilities involved. And then of course there was us, right? So our play was to marry the utilities with the homeowners. They're already connected, but we were going to step in the middle and provide a device that would help manage this outdoor watering problem. It would help to turn off the water when there were days that it was like today, when we had plenty of rain, so there was no reason to water. It would give a little bit of water when it was dry and would help give the proper amount of water so that we weren't overwatering unnecessarily. That way the homeowner was able to have a green yard and we were also able to save water. Now, about the time that we were going to launch would have been at the end of 2015. So in 2014, we do all these calculations, and guess what? After talking to a whole bunch of consumers, we discovered that nobody cares. Isn't that sad? Nobody cares. And the other challenge is that we talk with utilities and we tell them, hey, we have this idea for connecting you with the homeowners in a different way. We're going to help save water. And they'd get all excited. And they say, oh yeah, we have conservation programs, and their conservation programs would be like, they'd have like -1% almost. I mean, like a few hundred users out of 50,000 that would adopt this conservation program, and they'd get excited. Like, wow, we're having this really fantastic success, and if you want to help us with another conservation program, we're all in. We're excited to do that. So again, about the time that we're ready to go, we decided, hey, well, let's pull the plug on this thing. No one's interested. We can't get this to the market. Customers aren't going to move forward with this. And about that time, in 2015, we ended up with 77 inches of rain. I don't know if you remember, and I don't actually remember the total number of gallons, trillions of gallons that fell on the state of Texas during that time period, but it was a lot of water in a relatively short amount of time. We even had some flooding, right? So big difference. So if nobody cares when it's 36 inches of annual rainfall, how do people feel when it's 77 inches of rainfall, right? So we were solving a problem that, at least in the minds of our customers, didn't matter. So what were some of the takeaways with this? Well, we want to make sure that your customers are genuinely having the problem that you're trying to solve. If they don't have it, they're not going to be responsive to it. There may be the timing is off. Now today, things are different, technology is different, maybe there's a different play, a different way that you could approach this particular problem. Maybe there's something that we could do. And really the best market validation in any case is when someone is actually willing to give you some money for the solution that you're offering. So if they say, hey, I really love your idea, and then when you say, okay, great, can I sign you up for our service, or can I sell you this product, or whatever the case may be that it is that you have, and they're like, I'm not really interested, then you've got your answer from them on that, okay? All right, so oftentimes oh yeah, please. Why not? Why involve the government? So we did have conversations with the government. Yeah. So there is a governing agency in the state of Texas that manages the water. So we definitely were having conversations with them, and they loved us, right? Great, yeah. But the reality is that we had a lot of different forces that were at play. So yeah. Any other questions? I don't want to go too fast. Okay. All right. So one of the opportunities that I have is to judge pitch competitions, both in my classes, and then, gosh, just 2 nights ago, I was with the football team judging their pitch competition. So right here on campus, we have some really cool ideas that are being generated. And so in every slide and every deck, you're going to see what is called the up and to the right slide. So what that looks like is we've got this period where our growth is slow. Maybe we even have some negative numbers, but hey, you just stick with us long enough and it's going to go all the way up and to the right. And I'll turn around so we got it this way. And we're just going to be going forever. So we have these milestones and it's going to be looking amazing. You should invest with me, right? The reality though is that oftentimes we launch our business and this is sometimes what it looks like. It's more down and to the right. So we don't have this steady stream of income. We're not able to get customers like we wanted. We have these struggles to really get people on board. It can be kind of challenging. It's really frustrating as entrepreneurs, right? All right, so let me share with you another startup, and then we're going to jump into a little exercise. I've got some sheets of paper. This is actually a learning. Like, I'm not going to do all the lecture. I know that you can't believe that, but here we go. All right, so this is a pricing, promotion, and planogram. Now, we're working on some really serious alliteration here, so stay with me. I mean, this is big stuff, right? So our concept was to put an electronic shelf label on the front of every single grocery store shelf, right? So then you could do three things. First of all, pricing. We're all very familiar and very comfortable with, hey, what's the price of this item that's on the shelf? It might be on the item itself. Maybe it's on the shelf in front of it. Could be an electronic. Most of the time, it's actually paper, right? And then we would have promotion. So we're adding something extra. And so, hey, this is an opportunity to do a little promotional piece, and we could put a little ad on there so we all are accustomed to seeing lots of screens. And then finally, planogram is just a fancy word that they use in the grocery store to identify what item goes on this shelf and then what item goes right next to it, right? So it's just the plan. So the grocer pulls up, they have their master plan, and they go, okay, we're going to put the beans right here, we're going to put the corn right here, so they can organize it. And we're going to put all of that on the single strip. That would be electronic. You'd be able to connect, automatically update the pricing with the register, and it would match with what is actually on the shelf, so it'd be beneficial, right? Fantastic idea. Now, so how many, let's see here, how many have been to H-E-B with seen the little yellow hang tags, right? So we had some conversations with H-E-B, and those little yellow hang tags are like gold dollars. And when H-E-B's customers, H-E-B, by the way, is a fantastic company that knows its customers really, really well. And so when they put those little hang tags out, their customers get really excited. And so our proposal was, hey, you can do away with this paper hang tag, and we'll just put it on the shelf for you. And they said, Mike, we know that our customers really like to see these little hang tags, so that's going to be a problem. So okay, well, we'll keep talking. We'll keep trying to figure it out. So I put a couple of pictures of a grocery store, just in case it's been a while. I've made the biggest picture vegetables. That's a public service announcement for everybody from your mom, right? So don't forget, get some vegetables in your diet. I know we have some good stuff on campus, but keep things going. But I want you to actually walk with me down the laundry aisle, all right? So help me out here. What are we experiencing on the laundry aisle? So we're buying laundry detergent. So what's on there? What are we seeing? What are we smelling? What's the sense? What do we got? This is where you help me. All right, in the back. Tide Pods, all right? So we got Tide Pods. And by the way, I'm going to repeat what you say because we got the camera and the camera can't hear you. What do we got? Homogeneous clutter. Come on, man, it's organized. We got the orange, we got the green, but there's a lot of stuff going on there, right? What else? Just a scratch? Okay. You're making me feel bad. You have that nice hair and.
Fabric softener.
Okay, we have fabric softener, right? So we have some different fabric softener. What? Large containers, right? So we have these big tubs of soap. We have the Tide Pods, right? So we have some really different things, right? Please. Floral scents, right? So we have all these conflicting almost scents that are competing for our attention. You walk up, you smell the box. Is this the one that I want? Is this how I want my clothing to smell, or when I climb into my sheets? By the way, this is a note for the gentleman in the room. I happen to have spent some time in a dorm, and I just want you to know we're getting close to midterms, and so it's time to wash your sheets. So it's time. I mean, it's okay if it's been a while, just make it happen. All right, So we've got the laundry detergent aisle. There's a whole bunch of things. Now, one of the things in our conversations with various grocery stores that we had is they talked about that there's lots of stuff going on. We've got some ordered chaos, right? So we have all these bright colors. So we've got Tide. We've got, what color is Tide? Orange, right? Hook 'em horns, baby. Excuse me. Oh, what are some other colors that we have on the laundry aisle? We have some blues, we have some yellows, we have some what? Green, we have some blue, right? So I already said blue, so there's everything. All right, so we've got a couple of these things. Now, if you can imagine going down that laundry aisle and you're there to pick up some stuff, now put a bunch of flashing lights on every single shelf with some advertisement with the pricing. Picture in your mind an H-E-B hang tag at virtually every location. Now what are you doing? If we had ordered chaos before, what's your mind doing? It's overload, right? We're going to explode. So another problem that we had identified, or we hadn't identified, is that, gosh, if we put all this stuff on, there's just so much going on. Coke aisle, same issue. Like there's a lot of stuff happening, a lot of colors, a lot of things, and so customers will be sensitive to having some additional things if we're trying to advertise to them on these different levels, all right? So in our conversations with our target market, with grocery stores, we also had some technology issues. This was about 5 or 6 years ago. We had some technology issues. At the time, the technology that we were using to communicate with the back office, if you will, so that we had all this pricing information correct, didn't go through metal and liquids very well. See any problem with that being in a grocery store? All the shelves are made out of metal. We've got the water in the Coke aisle. It's all water, right? Even the laundry detergent aisle, there's a fair amount of dense stuff that's hard to get in. So in our conversations as well, as they identified a major competitor. What's the biggest competitor to an electronic shelf label? What do you think? Someone said it. Paper, right? So we have a strip of paper with a relatively low-cost labor to install it. And so that was our main competitor. And so we weren't competing against folks, mostly from Europe, that had electronic shelf labels. We were competing against a strip of paper. And grocery stores have very, very low margins. And so guess what? They don't have a lot of extra money to invest in some capital, make some capital investments, and put some additional stuff. So we closed this one down as well. All right, I'm really sorry for the guys in the front row. All right, so sometimes the technology isn't ready. Sometimes your competition is going to have something that's going to be more attractive. And sometimes you just may have a whole bunch of things happening that make it really hard for your customer to adopt your solution. Think about all of the integration that we would have had to do on behalf of our customers in order to make things happen for them, right? So it could be really challenging. All right, so now it is your turn. We're going to do some work. We're going to do some work. All right. So on the table in front of you, I've got a sheet. It's called the Big Idea Canvas. A great little tool that I use with all my students and I use personally in my business stuff to identify and evaluate new ideas. The thing I love about this is that it's a one-pager. You can quickly identify a whole bunch of things that are happening in your business, take a look at what's happening in the market, what might be the competitors, just some overall things. Now, your initial stab at this is going to be 100% guessing, or maybe 95% guessing and with a little bit of educated guessing, right? So it's okay. We're just going to make some estimates. We don't really know. And what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through some of the high points of the sheet, and then we're going to watch a video that I've seen once, and then as a group, we're going to use the tool to evaluate the idea. Fair enough? Okay. All right, so first, let me grab one of these here. All right, so if we're looking at the left-hand side of our sheet, we're under pain of the customer. So we're just going to look at how big is the customer pain? How much pain are they experiencing? Now, the example that I give with my students is going to the dentist. And I'm not proud of this, but admittedly, here in the United States at least, we're supposed to go every 6 months. That's what the American Dental Association recommends. And in the past, there have been some times, I did just go last week, so just, let me put that out there. But in the past, maybe I'm busy. I don't want to deal with the dentist, and I've got a lot of stuff going. Maybe I let a month go by. Instead of 6 months, it slips to 7, and then maybe it keeps going, and maybe it's 10, and then maybe it's 12, and maybe even I slip a little bit past that, right? I mean, not proud of that. I have nearly perfect teeth, one cavity. I'm 45 years old, so there you go, right? So I haven't let too many months slip by, but a few have. Now, in contrast, if I have a toothache, am I going to let any time slip by? I'm in right then, right? So the difference is, when we're comparing vitamins to an aspirin, right? So if I forget to take my vitamins, maybe no big deal, long-term health, but if I have a pain, I'm going to go see the dentist. I'm going to purchase the aspirin. I'm going to get whatever I need in order to solve this pain, okay? So we're just going to evaluate how big the pain is that the customer might be experiencing. We've got a couple of really cool, and I spent some time on this slide. I mean, look at that. We've got a picture of a mosquito going here. I mean, that's pretty impressive, right? So, hey, if it's just a mosquito, great. We put a little bit of Benadryl on it, we're good. But if it's a shark hanging off of our arm, hey, maybe we should pay attention. Maybe this is a big enough pain that's going to be a little bit more compelling. All right, so we're just continuing on here to the next one. So how many people are actually experiencing the pain? So if it's not very often, then, maybe it's a significant pain, but we've got a workaround that we can do. It's once every year, it's once every 2 years, who knows? But we want to just have an idea. We're just making some guesses here. We don't really know, so we're going to check it out. All right, next we're going to say, well, what is the potential of the market? So if we understand, can we profitably provide an opportunity for it? Again, we're just dropping down a little bit under the second part here into the potential of the market, again on the left-hand side. So could we provide an opportunity? Could we provide something that would absolutely meet the needs of this particular customer segment? So I've just walked you through a couple of examples, and we felt like that we had an idea that we could sustainably produce, that we could provide for our customers. Turns out that our customers weren't experiencing the same pain that we thought that they might be, all right? And then next, and finally last, is just, what's the size and the growth of it? So we want to take a look at, is this thing going in a direction where people are going to be attracted to solving the problem? Is it something where the growth is such that we're going to actually ride a wave up where we can take advantage of some good things, okay? All right, so how much pain are you experiencing? So this isn't my laptop, so let's see how this is going to go.
Hey, what are you doing here? Wondering what that was? That's Pop Theater. It's your own personal theater for watching movies on your mobile device in comfort and privacy. People go to the theater not only to watch the latest movies, but for the experience that comes with it. Pop Theater allows you to get that theater experience wherever you are. No longer will you have to deal with your arm getting sore from holding your phone up in awkward positions, or your phone hitting your face when you're holding it up. Now, you can solely focus on what it is you're watching. Up until now, there hasn't been an all-in-one solution that keeps your body free while giving you the privacy you deserve. The theater itself is the main part of the product. It's built from a breathable polyester material that both blocks off outside light from entering and provides proper temperature regulation while inside. Inside Pop Theater, a transparent plate is stitched in near the top, providing a place for your device to rest at the perfect distance from your eyes. By the way, Pop Theater is compatible with nearly any size phone or tablet. The custom Bluetooth-enabled remote allows you to control your video while your device is out of reach. An included dual-driver wireless speaker delivers high-quality sound throughout the theater that could not be achieved with the device alone. The speaker also functions as a power bank, so you do not have to worry about running out of battery while watching your video. The theater is held up by 4 poles, which are also able to fold for easy storage. We know you are always on the go, so we designed the theater to collapse down for easy portability and storage. To use Pop Theater, first remove the components from the carrying bag. Unfold the poles and slide each one through the sleeves located on the outside of the theater, and then fasten them in place. Insert the flexible plastic board around the inside walls of the theater for support. Connect both the remote and speaker to your device via Bluetooth and open the movie or show you're going to watch on your device. Make sure your device's screen is in the correct orientation before placing it under the larger elastic strap for you to view from below. Place the speaker under the smaller of the two elastic straps attached to the plate. Pop Theater lets you get the most out of your device, giving you the complete cinema experience. You can be at the park, at home, or even at the movies and still use Pop Theater as long as you have a place to lie down. There's been nothing like this previously that solves every issue in an all-in-one solution.
Hi, my name is Eli, and this is my partner Samir. Pop Theater all began as a project in our engineering class. After numerous designs and prototypes, we have developed the perfect solution to the long-lived problem of watching movies and shows on mobile devices in discomfort. We currently have 3 manufacturers lined up to produce each component of Pop Theater, but we need your help to contribute to our campaign so that we can get the funds necessary to mass produce our product. Thank you.
All right. I mean, come on, the Pop Theater. That's pretty cool, right? Okay, so let's talk about it. So let's look at, using our tool here, the pain of the customer. So how big is the pain that the customer might be experiencing on this? Again, I've never had this conversation. I've never used this in a class, so I don't know what the answer is. What do you think? Mosquito bites. So you're saying, I mean, come on, man. Your arms are like holding up there. I mean, your neck. I mean, come on. You just laid in comment. You're saying only a mosquito bite? All right. Anyone see it differently than a mosquito bite? All right. So we're going to go with a mosquito bite. All right. How often might people be experiencing that pain? So we're just moving down a little bit further. Number 5 under the first part, pain of the customer. How frequently might someone experience the pain? It's relatively small, we've identified, mosquito bite size, but hey, we're still feeling it. How often? What do we think? Okay, so for you personally, relatively infrequently, you have some other devices. Hey, we have a big screen TV on the wall. We'll go with that rather than trying to look at the tiny screen on our phone, all right? Anybody else? Okay, so little, catch up on the news or catch a little clip of Netflix or something, watch it, but not enough that you can't get a good night's rest because you've got neck pain or something. Okay, all right, so daily, so infrequently and daily. Anyone else? Anyone else? All right, so let's take another look. Let's jump down to number 2, the second part where it says potential of the market. So how many people might be experiencing this pain? So we've got a range here of daily to infrequently. We've got a mosquito bite-sized pain, but someone presumably is feeling it. Certainly our good friends on the screen were, enough that they designed a business around it. So what's the number? How many people do you think might be experiencing this? Millions? All right, so millions of people. Are you sure? I mean, I don't know what the answer is here, but you're saying millions? Okay, all right. We've got consensus in the room. All right, so let's skip over our sustainability question because, I mean, they've clearly got it, all the pieces ironed out, so they can definitely properly do it for us. All right, so what do we think the overall size and growth of that market is? What does that look like? Growing super fast, going slow? Is it already, have you ever seen anything like it? The product out there? Okay, so we have, Chromecast or Apple TV or their Roku or whatever, we have a number of different ways that we can get whatever's on our little screen onto a bigger screen. So you're saying that there's a different way to solve that problem, right? Okay. All right. What if you're on the road though? You're out away from things and there's no big screen on the wall out in the park, right? So what do you do then? Enjoy the park. That's a great answer. That's what you should be doing anyway, right? You're at the beach, you're at the park, just be in nature, right? Okay, good. All right, so again, you were able to quickly go through and analyze this invention. I've now seen this twice. You've seen it once. You and I came to a similar conclusion on the value of this particular idea. And you could do that with any idea. Your friend comes to you and says, hey, I've got this great idea for a business. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But rather than telling your friend that they're a super incredible entrepreneur and they should go after it, and then they're going to throw away their life savings in the next 6 years of their life, you can use a tool to help them to evaluate the feasibility of the idea and what's going to happen next for them. All right, Pop Theater coming to a couch or a park near you. So there you go. All right, so just to sum up this piece here, Jack Canfield is at least who I got this from. I'm not sure if he's the originator of it, but pain equals purchase. So again, to my earlier conversation, pain equals purchase. We're talking about the difference between vitamins and aspirin. And so keep a concept of that. And because these are my slides, I went ahead and put my own quote up there, and I just filled it with alliteration. I mean, just filled it with all kinds of P's that you can remember forever. So let's be good. All right, so you've got the possibility of really increasing things for your customers. All right. Recently came across a gentleman. He's an entrepreneur from Australia, name of Kerwin Ray. And he shared this concept as well. So maybe our good friends at the, our theater experience isn't something that is what we necessarily need in our lives right now, or enhancing it based off the solution that they provide. But we want to make sure that we've got something that our customers are going to derive some value from the solutions that we are providing for them. All right. So I wanted to share a little bit more about my daughter, who was actually the one that was born at the fire station. Her name is Ashley, and she's not our first baby. She happens to be our fifth, all right? So that was part of the reason why I didn't share all the story. It was part of the reason why she came so fast all of a sudden, is because we'd already been down this path before. So Ashley is absolutely incredible at creativity, creating stuff. She's 7 years old. She just gets stuff done. I just love how she approaches life. So last week we had Valentine's Day. Hope you didn't screw it up. It's a big day. It's Valentine's Day, so do something nice. And she had the class party. What do we do with our class party when we're putting our Valentines together for our friends? What do we do? Everyone gets one. And for our special friends, a little bigger or better candy, right? So we've got some options here. So I can tell that I'm not the only one in the room that's done this. And so she was putting together her Valentines. Now, we let her choose what she wanted to do. She wanted to do some commercially purchased cards with a little pencil for the girls in her class, right? And she actually handmade she would get a piece of paper, she would fold it up 4 corners, and then she'd cut it out, kind of like a little snowflake. And that was what the guys got with a sucker, right? So this was what Ashley was creating. So she happened to have a problem, though, is that she had to get her Valentines to the class and then have a way to be able to bring them home. So she asked me for a solution. Dad, what should I do? And I suggested what? A box. What else? A bag. And we have a load of those HEB bags, like the ones where you have to purchase, right? We shop in Austin pretty regularly, so we've got a load of those things. I never remember to take my grocery bags to my HEB bags to the grocery store. All right, so I tell her a bag, right? Just get a bag. Let's get that going, and you're ready to go. No, Dad, not going to happen. So she had this 3-step process. So the first thing she did is she went and got some paper, just like the paper that's in front of you. She drew a bunch of hearts on it. And then she crumpled up, I was really impressed with this piece. She crumpled it up and folded in the corners to create a base, got some Scotch tape, and then just taped around it, and then folded a second sheet so that she now had a bag, right? So these were the steps. Taped it all together, and then she found a piece of ribbon and attached it to it. I was pretty impressed with the process and what she came up with. I even have some pictures. Now, one of the things that I was really blown away with is that after she was gone, and I have this on video, but unfortunately my wife was talking at the same time that she said it, so I don't have this video. So here's the quote, is that once she had it all assembled together, she hadn't put anything in it, and she said this, "Now I need to test it." Right? So this is the big mistake that we as entrepreneurs make, is that we make the assumption that we have this really cool idea, like our pop theater, and maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but then we don't go test it with some customers. We just make it, right? And we just have this thing, or we have a concept, but we don't actually test it. And then we go spend a whole bunch of money getting a prototype together, and we've got a problem, all right? So here we go, Ashley. So here's the final design. I mean, come on. I mean, look at that. She put some stuff in to make sure it works, and then she went and found some ribbons so that it was ready to go. Added a handle, right? I mean, come on. And I am pleased to tell you that it functioned great. It served its purpose. She was able to take all of her Valentines to her friends at her class for a little class party. Ready to go. All right. So the lesson that I want you to take away, that is if my 7-year-old can figure out the importance of testing her designs and testing her ideas. Now, she wasn't going out and making a commercially viable Valentine's bag, so we didn't have to go further than the living room in this case. But in your case, remember the importance of testing the products that you have, the services that you have, and the way that you do that is to actually go and talk with people. Have some conversations outside of your friend group, outside of your family, because what are your friends and family just going to tell you? It's awesome. I just love you. You're so incredible. You're such a great entrepreneur. And they'll just lie to you. That's the bottom line. So again, you'll spend lots of money, maybe waste 6 years of your life. Don't want you to have to do that. All right. So here you go. We're going to shift gears. We'll finish up with this. We're almost to the exciting conclusion of today. Anyone feel nervous giving a presentation? Yeah. I mean, no one's like raising their hand. I'm just getting like everyone's curling up in a ball. So, anyone ever felt nervous giving a presentation by show of hands? Okay, good. All right, so I'm not the only one. Now, I want you to know that right now I'm cool as a cucumber. I'm having the time of my life standing in front of you. And I have been this way since I was 3 years old. I'm a little weird, I know, but I really am enjoying myself right now. One of the challenges I have is sometimes I'm having so much fun that I put everybody to sleep. So just, it happens. All right, so we have all this public speaking stuff, and it's kind of crazy, and we get in front of people, and we're like, oh, what do I do? And we clam up, we get excited, and don't know what to do. But I got excited about this skill that I happen to have developed quite extensively is public speaking. So I was going to create a business around public speaking. And I'm going to train people how to be better public speakers. I'm going to train people on some things, came up with this idea. It's one of my startups that I launched and got going here. All right, so here is the business model for doing a speaking business. Or it's a business model. I don't know if it's the business model. But what you do is you reach out to a whole bunch of people and you invite them to a free event. That way they get to taste a little bit of what an experience might be like working with you. And you're kind of the product. You're the main product. And so giving them a free taste of what it is, that's a good way to go. Next, while you're on the stage, you sell them an upgrade to another opportunity, right? And so give them incredible value. And so then you have this relatively low cost experience. Maybe it's $40, maybe it's $90, whatever the case may be, but you have something a little bit more. And then once they come to that, then you have a much higher value item. And so this is how you can build your business. You create this big funnel. I've actually seen it work, so I know that it is possible to do this. So if any of you are interested in starting a speaking business, now you have the model. You're ready to roll. All right? So I had the opportunity to get started with this, and I am incredibly comfortable, as I just said, in front of an audience. I thought that this is how all of my presentations would go, right? So I get the folks in. By the way, I had a heck of a time getting people to come to a free presentation. Like, who wants to come listen to this guy, right? So that was a challenge. So I did manage to get 6 people right here. Got them right here on the front row, second row. So I had 6 people right here, and if they were to turn around, you would see that these are 6 really nice people. I mean, they really have nice smiles. I mean, these are really nice people. There is zero reason to be worried about these guys. I mean, they're really, really nice people. But I was in front of them, and I wasn't feeling confident, and my speech wasn't smooth, and I wasn't doing a good job of adding a whole bunch of value. My fault. And I wasn't turning anybody into customers, because this is what actually happened. It was just like I just got stiff and I started stuttering, and I was just freaking out, and I clammed up. And I did, however, manage to get one client out of this deal. It was, it was one client. But we got started, got going, kept going. Now, at that point, I'd never experienced nervousness like I did that moment. I'd never experienced what it felt like to be speaking to 6 really nice people and then just have everything shut down in my mind, in my mouth, and it really shook me. I was really, in fact, I wanted to quit. I wanted to be done with that. But I didn't quit, and every week for the next 26 weeks, I gave a presentation. Every single week, I kept doing it. Some of those presentations were relatively short. Some of those presentations were really, really, really bad, but I kept giving a presentation every week for 26 consecutive weeks. Now, the result of continuing to give those presentations is that it opened up some opportunities for me to do some speeches where I continue to build my business, continue to build my skills, and continue to actually be able to add some value for folks. The other thing that happened that was really fun is that I actually got to make some money out of this thing. And so I was able to take it to the next level. So here's the message from this, is to not quit no matter what. Encourage you to keep going as you're going through the process of entrepreneurship, of building your business and being able to accomplish the things that you want to do. You're going to be able to overcome obstacles if you'll just stay with it. Get a team around you, get the people around you to help support you and help you to be successful and help you to accomplish over things. And you need a really strong why. That's my family in the corner, and it will make a big difference when you have the reason that you're doing what you're doing be as strong and important as your family, or even a bigger cause. There may be something bigger that's in your life. All right? My friends, this is a picture of my very first day of class in 2018 in McCombs, just upstairs. I'm living my dream. I had the opportunity to turn my little speaking career into an opportunity to stand in front of students every week and to work with them and to help them accomplish their dreams. And I've failed 9 different times in my entrepreneurial journeys. Well, failure, we have some levels of success, right? So I haven't had this huge smashing success, get it out here. But the reality is that I'm not done yet. Sure, I still have my students and an incredible opportunity to work with them, but I'm also working on some entrepreneurial gigs on the side. I've got some things going. I'm working with some clients and looking at some different deals. I'm using the tool that I just presented with you to evaluate some opportunities as well. So don't give it up. All right? Our slides have just quit. All right. Your battery is running low. We're almost done. It's good news. All right, so now it's your turn. So just a few key takeaways here is to make sure that you're paying attention to what your customer's pain is. Focus on focus on testing. Get out and talk with people. Make sure that you're able to help them to identify the things, and then finally start, but don't quit. And the final conclusion here is you never know what great could happen. Maybe it's a baby that happens at a fire station. Maybe it's an idea that you take from conception all the way up to delivery and have an incredible product or service that really makes a difference. And I'll leave you with this, that the world needs you. The world needs your ideas. The world needs your spirit. The world needs the things that you can accomplish and the things that you can provide in helping others to accomplish their own dreams. Thank you very much for being here. It's been my absolute pleasure to spend a few minutes with you, and I look forward to working with you in the future.